Grand opening, grand closing.
Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers, your only friend, these YouTube streets, Puerto77. Hope you enjoyed this video. This right here, right? Amazon now sells a no console required Xbox bundle. And it's just weird marketing. Like, what is this? What is no console required marketing is supposed to mean? Like, who are you supposed to advertise this to? Like, who is supposed to read this and absorb a certain type of information? The first time my wife saw a commercial, this was a couple of months ago, it was on Peacock. Got a commercial and it was Starfield. It showed Starfield, and then it showed, like, you know, xCloud, whatever, and then it said no console required. And her first reaction was, oh, you don't need to buy an Xbox anymore to play these games? And that was interesting because she saw it as Xbox gamers didn't need an Xbox to play Xbox games. I tried to explain to her that no, what they really trying to say is, for people who don't like to buy consoles, you can now play Xbox games and you don't have to commit to buying a console. And she's like, but if you want to play the games, you would buy the console. And I'm trying to explain to her, and in the middle of the conversation, I'm realizing I can't even get this point through to my own wife. I can't, like I don't even work for Microsoft, so why am I even wasting my energy? Like, I'm trying to tell her what Microsoft's trying to say, and she doesn't get it. Because in her mind, if you want to play Xbox games, buy an Xbox. You see, this is the problem. The problem is never the console. Console hardware is not a problem. I mean, are people also going to say no PC required? Notice they're not saying that. It would make more sense if you said no hardware required. But they're not saying no hardware. They're saying no console required. Is a PC still required in gaming? The reason why my wife had trouble is because she sees it as simple. It's a simple thing. If you like the games, you're going to get the hardware to play the games. If you don't get the hardware to play the games, it's because you're just not interested in the games. If you're interested in the games, you'll get the hardware, whether it's a PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, or console. The barrier, the gatekeeping, or the barrier, or the obstacle of games is not hardware. No one really had a problem. No one has a problem buying hardware to play games, right? But Microsoft's trying to advertise this scenario where they think they're gonna reach this group of gamers whose only issue with gaming was that you had to buy a device to actually play gaming. Which I don't think that's the case at all. In fact, if you paid attention in the gaming community, the people who are buying this bundle now and bragging about it, you know, they're like, oh yeah, I just ordered mine. They have an Xbox console. They're just buying it just to test it out and see if it works. But none of them are going, hey, I just sold my Xbox Series X, I traded it in, and I'm sticking with this. I'm no longer, you know. The reality is, no one has an issue with hardware. Microsoft is trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist, right? It doesn't really exist. People are looking at what movie and music did and see, well, games is the same exact thing, and I don't think it is, and I'm gonna explain why. You see, with movies, we'll start with movies, right? And TV shows, a lot of the programming originally came from TVs, right? You had the open free airwaves, you bought a TV, and you got free programming, right? You got all the programming you wanted to watch. The only problem is it was on a schedule. That's where TV Guides was very popular during that era, during the 80s, 70s, 60s, and whatever. You had your schedule. You knew when a show was going to go on. You knew what time. And if you wanted to watch that programming, you had to be at that channel and at that time. Okay. Music generally the same. You have radio stations. You listen to the radio, you listen to the music, and whenever it played, right? Then things got better once you had like cassettes, VCR, right? Cassette players for music. So now you were able to buy specific content, specific TV shows, specific movies, and now you had the freedom to watch that specific content whenever you want, or listen to the album or song whenever you want, or records, right? You have records. You can listen to as much as you want. The only problem is you had to keep buying, and it was a huge volume of stuff, right? And sometimes you couldn't buy all of it, right? It would get pricey. Well, for movies came rentals, right? So now you didn't have to buy the movie, you can rent it, right? And Blockbuster took that concept to a whole new level. So now you had a huge selection of movies and TV shows and all that stuff. And once again, you can watch content, as much as you want, but it was still limited to the amount of movies that you can rent at any given time. All that evolved, right? And take it further, you had cable TV. Cable TV was kind of the same way. You had all this content that you can watch, but using a schedule until they brought in on-demand video, if you remember. HBO on-demand, Showtime on-demand, and stuff like that. Eventually, Netflix took that to a whole new game and said, you know what? We're going to get all this content and we're just going to have it streaming and you can pick it, watch it whenever you want. All the time, 24/7. And music's like, you know what? All this music, instead of waiting for the DJ or your favorite radio station to play your music, we're just going to throw it on a service and you can stream the music all you want, right? So it worked that way. Video games didn't really work that way. Video games was always, you got to have some type of hardware and then you have to buy a certain game. Got the hardware, buy the game. Got the hardware, buy the game. Got the hardware, buy the game. Then the rental service came out. Blockbuster started renting games, and similar. You got the hardware, buy the game. Got the hardware, you buy the game. All right, good to go. Then they just took the physical media, made it digital. So now you don't have to go to the store and buy the game, but you still have the hardware, and you download the game and install it, right? And it's all software, and that's pretty much what people are used to. You give me the hardware, I get the game, and boom, whatever. Microsoft, with Game Pass, said, you know what, we'll take the rental concept and we'll put it more into the hands of the gamer, right? So you have a service where you have access to all these games, which is a rental service. Okay, cool. So that's kind of a blended mesh. But now this is doing something that completely goes a whole different direction, which is we're just going to remove the console, right? And what that does is, one, the people who want the console are like, what are you doing? I want the console. And the people who never wanted a console, guess what? They never really gained. And if they never really gained, because obviously who's gaming without a console, right? Throughout these generations, throughout these decades, right? No one. If you didn't own a console or PC gaming hardware, let's say, during the PS2 era, then what were you playing? You weren't playing anything. And if you weren't playing anything, it's only one reason, or for the most part, is because you didn't really care for the games. Now, of course, there's a few exceptions, like for people, in poverty, stuff like that. But if you're that poor, then you're not going to be able to do this either, right? For the most part, if you didn't have hardware, it's because you're not interested in video games, for the most part. Or you're a child and you can afford stuff. But for the most part, if you can afford gaming, but you don't have hardware, it's because you're not interested in gaming. And somebody saying, well, I'm going to put this on your TV anyway. Okay, fine. You put it on my TV. Still not going to use it. Just because you forced it as an app or you added it to a Fire Stick 4K, whatever, I mean, we all seen Stadia completely fail. And that's exactly what tried to do. And they went all in. They didn't have a confusing message. There was no like console or any this pseudo kind of PC. No, all in 100%. This is it. No one really cared. Barely didn't do anything. You know? For the most part, these concepts is just techie stuff. You know? I always seen streaming as nothing more as additive to the hardcore gamer. You know, you have your hardware at home. You know, you got your PC at home. But once in a while, you're not at home to play your hardware. So maybe, you know, streaming is a good temporary solution while you're away, maybe on vacation, you know, a 3-day trip, you're visiting the in-laws, visiting family, and then on some downtime, you know, you play a quick game on your phone on something, on a device that stream. Okay. Not a big deal. But to create a plan that devalues the main product, you know, was a stupid bet. Microsoft did a stupid thing, which forced them to go the path that they're heading down, right? And then if it doesn't get worse, like let's say this is how they go all in. When you go through this, and you're screwed because now you can't play games. Now, of course, people say, well, this is no different than Netflix, right? If Netflix is down, then you can't, you know, watch your movies. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But the thing is, gamers aren't used to that because gamers are used to hardware. You have your hardware. As long as you have electricity, you're good. You know? Whole different discussion if electricity goes out. Then obviously you got bigger things to worry about, right? You got bigger things to worry about, right? It's clear, and if you're new to this channel, you have not seen the things I've been saying for years, that Microsoft has completely punted it into the stands, have not truly focused on their console. They have not focused on their console for a long time, that now even the most hardcore of the hardcore Xbox enthusiasts are calling the console side piece. Let me show you this right here. Let's listen to right here, Colt Eastwood and Mag on the XNC podcast. Listen to this. Listen to Colt. Now keep in mind, this is the dude, 40% differential and, you know, more power. All, you know, 2020 was crazy. You know, Xbox Series X, the best ever. Every game will feel, play better. And he made all these videos, and it was just insane on how he projected that Xbox Series X was going to be so much better over the PS5. They even alluded that the Series S was going to be comparable. It was just crazy, right? They put these consoles to the upper limits, right? The power advantage, the price advantage. Xbox was going to dominate the market. Little Timmy, you know, all the little Timmys of the world was going to get this console. Now, look where we're at right now.
The price of the console, the console Game Pass thing again, if you want to get day and date, mind you. But it just seems insane to me when the console sales were like, what, minus 13 on the hardware front for the Series X and S. I'm like, what, minus 13%. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what are you doing? It seems like it almost seems like the gentle push seems to be a bit of a harder push now, trying to push people into the PC.
I think the attitude is Xbox is like, the console's just our side piece. And we're never gonna get into the European market. We'll never break into the Japanese market. We'll never break into anywhere but in North America.
You know, shout out to Jamie's Act for that little clip. Console's a side piece. That's like my joke. I joke like that, right? I joke that Xbox is a side piece, right? This is where it's come down to. It's insane that one of the main reasons that Xbox was even created was to compete against the PlayStation console from overtaking the living room, right? That was one of the main reasons. And now Microsoft just gave them the living room. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Microsoft's thinking bigger. No, they're not thinking bigger because they're not really doing anything different that other third party doing. What they're doing is They're just doing what third party does. They're just trying to get their games on many devices possible. That's what third party always do. EA Access is, what you would call it, a subscription service and stuff like that. Ubisoft, UB Plus is a subscription service. Microsoft's not doing anything special. They're just moving on from the console market business because it completely failed, and they can only blame themselves because they had a bad strategy. They focused on too many things that wasn't relevant, like the whole. At a minimum, okay, I get Game Pass. All right, I get Game Pass. I get that. I get that being a big deal. But I think the two main things they really screwed up on is number one, day-and-day PC. I am telling you, that killed them. As much as people want to talk shit, my Xbox did not get better the day they went with PC. They absolutely did not. The games did not blow up in sales. The quality did not blow. I will argue the quality even went more to shit. I will argue they even went through more problems. Because even during the Xbox One, I would say other than maybe Crackdown 3? No, I think Crackdown 3 was also day and date on PC. Was it? But like Redfall was a disaster. Stuff like it just seems like ever since they went day and day PC, they couldn't handle the load. They couldn't handle the quality, and everything just went sidestepped. Biggest mistake was Microsoft going day and day on PC. I will still say that. Them going day and day PC really made them look like shit. Sure, it made them look like the consumer-friendly company, but you went to shit in terms of quality. You would have been better off focusing on the quality and exclusively building your games on your console, and you would have been better off. Quality always trumps that the little bullshit of consumer. You don't sell shit for consumer friendly stuff. I mean, look at Nintendo. That's the most least consumer friendly motherfuckers on the planet. And their shit, they barely even do price drops on their games. So if you want to talk about someone that's not consumer friendly, Nintendo, they will sue you. You can try to advertise their product and they will sue you for it. Like, it's incredible. They will demonetize your channel if you try to hype them up. The most anti-consumer company in the world, but no one cares. Because at the end, what they're really looking for is quality. For the people who enjoy Nintendo. If you can hear that, that's my daughter. Microsoft mistake was number one. They won PC. They thought that was an easy way to get more sales. They thought that it wasn't the quality of the games. It was just they needed more people to buy games, like more accessible people. No. If you created quality games, the people will come to you. They will come to you. That's literally how it works for this, right? So that was your number one mistake. Day and day PC. Now, I'm not saying they could have avoided PC altogether. They could have done the Sony strategy. Wait 2 years, wait 3 years, give your developers time, maybe, buy other porting studios, whatever, but really focus on your hardware. That was the mistake, right? But mistake number one. Mistake number two, that two console strategy. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. You created two completely different schools because you wanted to do two completely different things, right? You wanted a really, really cheap console. You really wanted a really powerful console. But because of two architectures, you screwed both up. You screwed them both up. Half-ass strategy. You should have stuck with your guns. Xbox Series X all digital. Xbox Series X disc. Just like PlayStation. A 500 or 400, stick with it. Right? One school. So that way, the developers could really take advantage of it. And the fact that you wouldn't have done day and day PC, you probably would have netted better results, better stuff, right? I think by going day and day PC, they had to also do considerations to make sure the Xbox Series X and PC was very well aligned to manage this multi-platform environment of day and date. I think that screwed them up. They didn't do day and day PC, they wouldn't have to worry about how well it can really make the Xbox the way it really meant. really bring in that proprietary technology and stuff like that, and then you figure out the porting later, right? Focus, have a vision. That's what they should have done. Xbox Series X disc, Xbox Series X all digital. Focus on the console. Don't even worry about PC. Just what does this console need to really shine, right? Of course, you do your Game Pass, fine. Cloud gaming, tone that shit down. Should have kept it light and minimal. Sure, talking about it a little bit, but don't ever mention no console required. Do what Sony's doing. They advertise, they have cloud, but they don't say anything other than you could try it out and use it. They're not trying to, dismiss or change the environment, whatever. I think in that environment, Microsoft would have had more success because they would have focused the games. They would have been laser focused on the games for that one console. They probably would have been better. They probably would have came out sooner because you're not worrying about releasing on more than one platform. Sure, they would not have the whole, the most consumer-friendly brand ever, but it's not helping them. It's not helping them. Their consoles ain't selling. It's the console's now a side piece. So what's the point of being the most consumer-friendly company when your console's a side piece now? And if that isn't bad enough, now you got this shit right here. As if the brand isn't a laughing stock already. Now you out here making BBL controllers. Now you got controllers that twerk. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is like, I don't like who, like, how can you hold the controller, bro? Got ass cheeks on the palm of your hands, bro, while playing a game. Like, bro, imagine I had this controller in my hand and my wife walks in. A fucking ass cheek, bro. This is weird, bro. There's gonna be some sick dudes doing weird things on this. Oh man, this is just crazy, bro. OnlyFans about to be lit. Y'all motherfuckers, this shit's about to go crazy. But like, what is this, bro? Booty cheeks on a controller, bro. This shit straight booty cheeks, bro. Yo, I've been told your Xbox is ass, but they took that shit literally. Yo, this shit is crazy, bro. Got booty cheeks on a controller, man. God damn, what the fuck happened to this brand, bro? This shit is uncouth, bro. Wow. When I first saw this, I'm like, I thought it was just J trolling, but no. Yo, I mean, I'm gonna just listen. I'm just end this episode with this, bro. Xbox is dookie, bro. This is just yo. Your only friend is YouTube Streets Porter77. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, stick around. And I'll check you guys later. I'll see you guys next week on Tuesday. 60 frames, no lag, 8:30 p.m. You guys take care. Peace.
Grand opening, grand closing.